Hello, lovers. Stripping is just plain different from other jobs. It kind of takes over your life in a lot of ways and takes over your identity. But what do you do when you're done stripping? What the fuck am I gonna do when I'm done with stripping? Which I think is right now. Getting out of stripping is always difficult. It's kind of a joke in the industry. Girls say, I'm quitting, and they're back. It's a hard job to get out of, for multiple reasons. For one, there's the stigma that's attached to stripping. How do you put stripper on a resume? How do you market those skills? How do you explain 6 years of blank time on a resume? For two, there's the fact that it's very hard for any entry-level job, for a lot of jobs, period, to compete with the income, the freedom, and I guess sort of the thrills that come along with stripping. I hopefully could find some sort of job, but chances of finding one that pays even half as well as stripping has is slim. The chances of getting hired anywhere gets lessened if I can't figure out this resume situation. Back when my neck got really bad and I thought I was going to be getting forced out of dancing, I applied to a lot of jobs. I didn't get even one interview. Not one. I have a degree from an accredited awesome institution. I have a lot of job experience, but it's all at least 6.5 years ago. 3 GameStops didn't call me back. I want to talk about ego shattering. I think I need to retire. I think I've needed to retire for a minute. The injuries keep getting closer and closer together. I have bulging discs at C6-7 and at T6-7. I have dislocated my knee multiple times. It almost happened again. When I first started dancing, a lot of older dancers told me I needed to have a plan. And I've spent the last 6.5 years thinking that I did have a plan. My plan always was to retire in January 2016, or at least close to it, because that's when I was going to start working on having babies. Best case scenario, I figured I would, dance for the first couple months of pregnancy, 2 or 3 maybe, and then take 9 months off, which would give me time to have the baby, and then hopefully get back into reasonably good shape, and then get back to work. The current state of my injuries and everything has just fucked it all up. Dancing is kind of impossible to do without confidence. I've seen girls make money without fancy tricks, people that barely do a damn thing on stage, making money hand over foot. But that's just not what the job is to me. The performance aspect of being a stripper is like 9/10 of it for me. It always has been. That stage is like my happy place. I don't know how to explain this. Since the second knee dislocation, it's stuck in here. That moment of having just popped my knee back into socket. I'm getting emotional. And leaning against the pole and just sort of like clinging for dear life and trying to keep breathing and just looking out into the crowd and seeing a sea of men looking at me like, why isn't she moving? None of them tipped me. There was not a single dollar on that stage. So when I was on stage again, and there was no money on that stage again, and my knee tried to go out again, it was just kind of just over. Thing is I am completely dependent on stripping for my income. I've been dabbling in webcamming, which has gone really well, but I have a very small apartment. I have a husband that often works from home as well. It doesn't work so great. The question is, what the fuck am I gonna do? When I first became a dancer, my life was in an intense period of change. It was a complete reinvention of myself, of who I am, who I can be, who I want to be. And now, pretty much my entire identity is wrapped up in this job, in stripping, in dancing, and being a performer. Man, I gotta reinvent myself all over again. And that's scary because stripping is most likely the whole reason that you out there in internet land are sitting here with me right now. It is the interesting thing about me. It's not that unique, but it's something that has made me happy. I've been proud to be a stripper. I have been proud to have a job that I enjoy and that I like putting effort into, a job that I don't feel corralled and forced into. And I don't know how I'm going to rekindle that feeling in something new, in something else, in something old. I have absolutely loved this job. It has had problems, it has had ups and downs, but I have loved it. Honestly, this is kind of my nightmare scenario happening right now. Fuck. The bottom line is, every time I had one of those worst case scenarios happen, things have worked out. Things have gotten better. Things have been fine. Somewhere in here, I know and believe that this will also be fine. I am trying to cultivate a sense of wonder at all the magical possibilities that could be out there. But I'm also scared. I didn't keep a second job, which is what so many people recommend, because this was the lucrative job. This was the only job I really wanted. And I have no idea what job I would want instead. I kind of had already really gotten myself set on, like, motherhood was going to be the next mountain I was gonna climb. Because stripping was such an intense challenge and departure from my other previous endeavors. After a lot of talking and suggestions and thinking, obviously the solution is to get unstuck on the money being the baby money and investing it in myself instead. But what do I do with it? And how am I gonna feel if I spend that money on getting myself out of this hole and then the financial situation never does stabilize and I can't do the baby thing without the baby money? I talk about babies a lot. I'm fixated on this idea. It's like my #1 top goal and ambition in life is to be a mom. That's a whole nother video. Baby fever video. I'm sure everyone's just gonna love that. I don't know what my passions are if dancing isn't one of them. That has been the all-consuming passion of my existence pretty much for the last 6 years. If stripping's no longer part of the equation and you ask me what my passion is, I don't know what the answer is. Apparently I need to do research on how to find new passions. It is so hard to not just cry and have a meltdown. Ugh. It's tough when things don't work out the way you want them to. And I'm scared of being without stripping. I'm scared of being without that identity. I'm scared of being without that community. Because I know good and well that it's kind of a fake community. The instant you're no longer a stripper, the instant you no longer work at that club, persona non grata. I've made a really good new friend lately who was a dancer at one point herself, and pointed out to me that for her, it's been 4 years since she stopped dancing. And she still doesn't know what she wants to be when she grows up. But I mean, she's doing fine. She's doing great. She's doing all sorts of cool shit. She's getting by, and she's enjoying herself. I need to figure out how to do this. I need to figure out what I want to do instead. Do I want to go to school? Do I want to just try a bunch of different shit? Do I want to fuck off somewhere for a couple weeks and figure it out? Do I want to get a career coach? Do I want to get a therapist? Do I want to curl up in the corner and cry about it? That's my current inclination. Fortunately, I have amazing friends. I have supporters out there in internet land and all sorts of other people sort of shaking me and saying this is not the end of the world. I'm tearing up again. It feels a little bit like the end of the world. I always imagined leaving dancing kind of on top. And instead, I clung on too long, I think. I knew good and well last year that my body was saying no, and my body was saying we're done. But I'm still not ready to be done. But I have to. So, reinvention is the name of the game. This is my project right now. This is part of why I'm sitting here with you currently. This is a new outlet for me. It's a new hobby. It's me proving to myself that I can learn and enjoy something new. Yeah. Anyways, lovers, this is part 1 in a series, hopefully. I'm not saying that I'm 100% done with dancing, but I am saying that I am in the process of moving on. Breaking up is hard to do. If you have broken up with stripping, if you've broken up with other areas of sex work, if you've had physical or any other sorts of barriers get in the way and sideline your career path and you moved on to something else, tell me about it. Are you in LA and think you have a job for me? Let me know. I'm very open to suggestions and I want to have a dialogue with anybody who's got resources out there for me. I definitely want to reach out and dig and see what other dancers have done. It's gonna be a lot of trial and error. This is really tough for me, but I wanted to share. You are awesome. I am Josie the Fiend. Maybe I'm still Dixie, maybe I'm not. Either way, thanks for listening.